Hey guys, it's Spyro4 here, and today we're checking out the best gaming IEMs money can buy, the Astral by Kiwi ears. This also could be the perfect all-arounder set, and it's honestly one of the best IEMs out there in the market that's worth checking out. I'll talk more specifically in this video why these are the best gaming set currently, and even though this is considered as a mid-level IEM set, I can also see it to be an endgame for a lot of people at this price range. So first thing we get here is the IEMs themselves. The unboxing experience here is just going to be the same as the Z got, specifically the Odysseys that I reviewed 2 months ago. Kiwi ears also focus on audio quality more than anything else, and they don't really care too much about accessories. And yeah, that's all you get, the IEMs in a carrying case that's including, first of all, a really nice cable with interchangeable terminations as you can see here. Then we have blue ear tips, we got a balance and also a 3.5 millimeters, and finally 4 extra filters for the nozzles. Plugging it here is a really easy mechanism to do, but the problem is there's no lock, so while taking this off from your amplifier, you gotta grab it all the way from the top. But the cable quality though is very solid, it's way better than the Z-Cats. And in the middle here we have this very precise holder, and I like the fact that it's tight and it doesn't loosen out. I find this cable very comfortable. And now let's check out the Astrals themselves. So these shells usually have 2 colors, the one we have in the box with some golden peppers looking style, and this blue crystal splashes as you can see. It's a full resin shell, it's very solid, really lightweight, and I'm also glad that this nozzle is not really huge, fitting at exactly 6 millimeters. But the length of it is a little short, so it doesn't really go that deep in your ear. And here it is compared to the Z-Cat Odyssey. From the front here, they look very similar in size, but from the side, you can kind of see the difference. At the top here, we obviously have a breathing hole, but even though it exists, with foam tips, I can feel a little bit of pressure building up if I wear these for hours. But with silicone tips I have on the Odysseys, and these ones are the Omnis, there are no pressure buildup issues with the Kiwi ears Astral. And the overall design of this shell is beautiful, you know, it's not too flashy, it's sealed up perfectly, I like the logo in the middle, and these little blue crystals look really dope. Actually, not the best design, but you know, medium, pretty cool design. I've obviously been using these for almost 10 days now, so I had enough time with them to form my thoughts about the sound quality. So now let's talk about the specs and then the sound quality of these IEMs. It's a 1 dynamic driver, 6 balanced armatures, and having 6 BA drivers explains why the shell size is a little bit bigger than what I prefer. The sensitivity of the Astrals is 105 dBs with an impedance of 23 ohms. The frequency response here ranges from 10 to 22,000 Hz. I tried the Astrals on an Apple dongle, and we also have the GM Pro here, but on my desktop I tested it with my Stack SMSL SU1 and the MT602 tube amplifier. So in my opinion, I do think that this set is source dependent, but for the average user, I don't think they're gonna notice these differences. And let's lastly talk about the volume before we move on to technicalities. I feel like this set can be used at low and medium volumes, unlike the Odysseys. It can still shine at only 50% of volume here, so if you are treble sensitive, you're not gonna have an issue with this. And talking about treble, let's move on to the graph and look at what we got here. This seems like to be the U shape, but I'm not sure about this 15k peak region and the boosted sub bass. I don't know how to feel about this specifically. So let's start from the treble down to the bass. This 15k hertz region here is the first thing you're gonna hear when you put these in your ears. You're gonna hear some sparkles and airy feeling in any music genre you're gonna listen to, especially vocals will feel really clear and crystal crisp, and hearing this for the first time is just gonna blow your mind. I'm not gonna lie to you, testing these for the first day, it did sound a little bit artificial and kind of weird, but the second day I just completely got used to it, and I don't think I can use these IEMs without having this 15k peak. I just got used to it and I love it now. And let's move on to the mid treble now. Since I said this set can be used at mid volumes, I don't think it's gonna be harsh at any times if you're a treble sensitive person. The peak here at 2800 really helps with the soundstage and imaging. I do not recommend lowering this down in the EQ by any chance, it's just gonna mess with the sound signature. I really like this the way it is, and I can describe this whole treble to be clean and airy and just really satisfying, especially when you keep in mind that we have a boosted sub bass back here. So imagine that 1 dynamic driver is doing its job alone here, while there is so much technicalities in the mids and the upper treble. It's really hard to imagine, but once you put these in your ears, you're gonna be mind blown. Moving on to the upper mids here, we can see an early elevated rise in this part. I don't know exactly what it helps with in the sound environment, but here we're gonna move on to the first con of this IEM, which is the mids. They're a little bit recessed than what I'm used to with the Z-Got Odysseys. This can be preferred by some people actually. Let me try to explain this. So with the Z-Got Odysseys, it kind of feels like you're inside the band around you, and like you can hear everything smashed in your ear. It's more engaging. I can enjoy the Z-Got Odysseys more in like hip-hop music, for example. As for the Kiwi ears Astral, everything feels laid in front of you. It's like you're watching the band in front of you rather than being inside it. And the cons about this is that the vocals are going to feel a little bit far away and recessed, but the pros about it is that you will be able to enjoy the background instruments and the overall atmosphere that the song lives in. You're going to focus more on the production effect and where the song is leaning towards. And finally, at the bass region here, I feel like this IEM just kind of splits it like this. This is the 1DD and the 6 BAs do the rest of the frequency response. And this is the best part about the Astrals. I haven't spoke about gaming yet. Be patient until the next part of the video, or you can skip to it if you want to hear more about the gaming. But I'm being specific here because the separation on the Astrals really deserves a huge credit here. Trust me, I've used many studio and gaming headphones. They will never reach the level of technicalities of the Astral because this 1DD gives you a really rumbly and textured bass without interfering with anything else in the sound signature, as you can see here. The separation implementation inside the shell of these drivers is very specific and really messes with your head, especially in those psychedelic production songs or songs with huge soundstage usually. So going back and talking about the bass here, the con about it though, to be honest with you, it lacks a little bit of punch. But since I'm not an engineer, I don't know if this was done by a purpose. What if this set had a punchier bass, but then the bass starts mudding out the mids for some reason? Don't get me wrong, look, the way it is fine, but it just lacks a little bit of punch if you listen to a lot of hip hop. And moving back and talking about the sub bass finally, it sounds really rumbly and textured without being muddy and without being boomy at the same time. This set is really making me struggle to explain how it exactly sounds like. But don't get me wrong about the mids and vocals here, they're well executed actually, like you can hear everything perfectly. I'm just talking about the volume of the mids was a little bit lower than what I'm used to. I mean, if you put these IEMs and listen to them for the first time, everything is going to seem perfect. The only noticeable parts here are going to be the 15k here peak for a few hours until you get used to it, and then it's going to be the lacking punch at this part. And these are the only things that an average listener is really, if it really tries, he's going to notice. But the rest here is on point. And now let's start talking about soundstage and imaging of this set. Whether it's for songs or just gaming, the soundstage feels holographic and creates a 3D space. As I said earlier, it feels in front of you rather than you're inside the band, but keeping a really good positional awareness. In gaming, the soundstage is obviously not going to be the widest out there, but specifically for Valorant, it's more than enough. And this is the best gaming set I've ever tried for Valorant. The gunfiring sound doesn't sound boomy and it doesn't interfere with footsteps or what's going on around you in the map. So you can track enemies exactly where they are. And sometimes with this set, I get really surprised. I go like, I've never heard this before. Like specifically in music, when I really lay down to sleep and listen on high quality lossless, I just be like, damn, I'm hearing this for the first time. And for gaming, I track somebody far away behind walls and I know specifically where they are. And honestly, in the market, if you want a similar soundstage, I think you're gonna have to spend like at least $500. So moving on to the imaging, it's very precise, very accurate, but also with great positional awareness. I tested this in a custom match too. I can exactly tell how far away footsteps are coming towards me. I can basically close my eyes and guess how far away the enemy is. So I've been using these for 10 days, and I think the 4th or 5th day where I really just formed my full thoughts about this. So damn, I'm trying to find cons for the conclusion of this video of the Kiwi Astral. Let's start with the pros. The best soundstage and imaging at the price range, and clean and crispy separation and layering for music and for gaming as well. And you can do your own research online. This makes it the best gaming IEM set at this price. I love how the impedance is low here, so you can drive this on anything, Apple dongle. I love how you can use this at mid volumes. You don't have to crank it up all the way to 80% like the EWEADN Odysseys to really unleash its potential. The cable is really nice. It comes with interchangeable terminations, and the pros honestly more than the cons, and this is the best gaming IEM set at $299 I've tried. For the cons though, let's bring back the frequency response. It's going to be the lacking punch in the bass and the recessed mids a little bit. These are personal, by the way. A lot of people might not even notice this, but I'm just being very specific at this point because I'm really trying to find cons of this IEM set. And one last con that I'm not really trying to be nice at this point, you Kiwi ears have to be a little bit more generous with your packagings. There isn't really much accessories that come with the box. And this video was not sponsored. However, this was sent out to me by Linsol. That's why I want you guys to check their link in the description below. Thanks so much for Linsol for supporting my channel. The first link in the description is going to be affiliated, and even though if you're not interested, at least check it out and read the specs. Sometimes they also drop coupons and discounts on these IEMs. And if you have any questions about this specific set, leave it in the comments. Liking the video supports me a lot, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.